Hey everybody, it's Alex Youngblood. I've got Brian Haskins here with me.
How's it
And
going?
excited to get to today's call, today's information. We're going to try to give you guys some great content, and we've got a really cool thing that we're doing. We're giving away my list stacking software, actually, which is really cool because it enables you to find some really highly motivated sellers by combining lists together and pulling out what each seller has multiple points with. So it could be like a seller that's got code violation or some kind of tax delinquency or something along those lines. When you combine that together, it really makes for an ultra motivated seller. And it's really hard to do unless you have some kind of a software or some kind of way to work with Excel and do that. But my software is awesome because you simply just upload these lists into it, and then it spits back which sellers fit those parameters. So we're really excited that we're going to be giving that away. As you're coming on, let us know where you're from, what market you're in, and also post some questions. In fact, there are some rules to the giveaway that we're going to be going over here shortly, but let us know where you're from, and we'll get started here shortly with some of the content. But in the meantime, as people are coming on, Brian, how are you doing, man?
Things are going good. Good. I'm excited about this. You know, it's one of those things that a lot of people in today's market, they don't really know the best way to find motivated sellers. And, you know, we're going to share with you guys some really great tips today. But this list stacking software that you're giving away is a game changer for people because what's so cool about this particular software and this little tool that you're going to be able to use is that a lot of people, they'll start to do a bunch of marketing. Like you said, you know, it's they might pick a big list of someone that maybe is pre-foreclosures or whatever the list is. But if they're not layering that list down to find the most motivated people, you might be, you know, wasting a ton of money and in marketing. So this is a great little tool for you to be able to really streamline the process, find the most motivated sellers. And it's really going to be a game changer for whoever ends up winning that, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate the thumbs up, whoever did that. If you guys are excited about this and you want to be the one to win it, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and we're going to go over the rules here shortly on that. You know, there's a lot of big, I guess you could say, corporations, or a lot of people are building these really big companies nowadays, and they're sending out a ton of marketing, and they're spending a lot of money on direct mail, and they're trying to grow their business, and they're a spot actually right now where they have to spend that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they've built these big, ginormous teams. They've got like acquisitions managers, and they've got dispositions managers, and they've got an office, and they have all this staff, and they have all this overhead, and they're in a spot right now where they have to spend a certain amount of money. And, you know, with the market and what it's doing right now, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. And I don't want to be in a situation where I have to make a certain amount of money. You know, I want to keep my have to expenses as low as possible. And part of doing that is being able to have an operation that makes a good amount of money with the lowest amount of overhead. So, I mean, that's a big part of it when it comes to how we're going to survive in this next market shift coming up.
Yeah, a lot of people right now are struggling because what they don't realize is that a lot of the traditional marketing strategies that people have used for years, you're ultimately setting yourself up to compete with some of the biggest players in the game. So a lot of the older strategies that people have talked about, the same old list that people have used for direct mail and things like that, it's not that they don't work anymore. It's just that there's so many people doing it and so many big corporations that you're fighting up against. You know, it's kind of like a David and Goliath kind of situation, to where if you try to compete using a lot of the stuff that's even used, that people have used even the last, you know, few months or years that worked, nowadays, because of how much competition there is and all these big players in the game, you're really kind of fighting a losing battle. And there's a much better way to do it, which we're going to talk about today, using some of these smaller, more targeted lists. But what people don't realize, just like you said, is there are so many people that they're up against. There's investors that are marketing to an entire state, you know, of absentee owners or stuff like that. I mean, they have to to get the numbers that they're looking for. And it's really hard to compete with players like that. So if you're trying to compete with them, ultimately, and you don't have a big enough budget, you're going to lose. And there's much better ways to do that. And that's why we created this 4-week training and kind of why we are doing this call today, just to kind of show you a better way.
Yeah, I mean, because it comes down to a volume game, right? And the way the volume game works is and I see this even in the new construction side of business, right? So there's these big builders out there that are putting out houses, and they're doing it. They're okay with doing it for less and less of profit because they're trying to increase their volume to make up for it, right? So as a smaller builder or investor trying to get into the game, you can't compete with that because you simply can't do 1 deal, 2 deals, 3 deals, small deals here and there for smaller amounts of profit with all the risk and exposure that goes into it. So that volume game is snuffing out the smaller type person. So same thing with investors and wholesalers. The volume game is really going to start to snuff out a lot of different investors because they're trying to do these deals and they're having to spend more and more and more money to get those deals. I mean, you remember the last coaching call that we were on last week, and we were like, okay, how do we scale this business, right? Because we've had some success with some of our students are doing really well. And they're like, okay, we've made some money. We've made like $50,000. We've got a bunch of money to spend on marketing at this point, right? So we looked at it and said, okay, let's try to scale this thing with direct mail. And we showed the sheer numbers, based on the response rate and based on how many leads you would get and having the expenses and the overhead that goes into that. And when you looked at it and you looked at how much money you would bring in and how much you were spending, it really was like, oh my, even if I have the money, I don't want to spend that much money in marketing to get this amount of revenue. It just doesn't make sense for me, right? So being able to really hone in and scale and hone in on your marketing and find what works and then scale what works is really what's going to work as we move into this next year and into 2019. It's funny, right? Because a lot of these strategies, they used to be looked down on, right? Like people are like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try to call somebody that I don't know, or driving for dollars and stuff like that. That's for people that don't have any money. That's for broke people and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of this stuff is actually making a comeback, and it's like, this is what people are doing right now to find deals that don't have a lot of competition because nobody else is doing it. So,
yeah, there's kind of that herd mentality to where, a lot of people they'll listen to podcasts, they'll read blogs, they'll go on forums. And a lot of these people for years have taught same thing over and over again. And what happens is it becomes so saturated. So a lot of those things that people were doing for a very long time, they become less and less effective. And whenever you are looking at a huge shift like we're in the real estate business and where there is so much saturation, you have to look outside of the box, kind of leave that herd mentality, because you're going to have to do things just like, it's all cycles. Things work great and a lot of people do them and they don't. So there's lots of things that you could be doing right now that and through the next few years that people aren't doing because they weren't working for a little while. But now as things start to shift and change a little bit, it becomes something that you need to kind of see. And that's really what's so important for us. I mean, obviously we've been through multiple different cycles of the real estate game. We've been in, so long, we've seen so many different cycles. We can start to kind of spot those trends and see what's working. And we do so much marketing in our own business as well as in marketing with our students and things like that. So we're able to kind of spot these trends and see what's really working. And that's really important in today's market, is kind of stay ahead of those changes, really.
What's interesting, right, is somebody here says, hello, guys, I'm struggling with sellers wanting more than what the property is worth, right? And that is a big concern right now. But may I say it's because you're targeting the wrong type of seller.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Not all marketing is created equal.
Yeah, exactly. And see, here's the thing. Now, I don't only just teach this stuff. I do this stuff, right? And just yesterday, I was looking at one of these leads, had put through the process, I'd stacked my lists, and I found this particular seller that wants nothing to do with the property. Like literally almost didn't know that she owned it and wants nothing to do with the property. I mean, what kind of lead, what kind of deal do you think I'm going to be able to make on that property? I mean, if you want a deal, right, where the seller doesn't even know, they may not even own the property and wants nothing to do with that. If you want a lead like that, give us a thumbs up right now and send that positive energy out there. If you want a lead like that, in which the seller doesn't even know they own the property and may not even want it, wants nothing to do with it. I mean, that's the type of seller right there that's going to change your financial situation. If you're in a spot where you're like, man, I can't get any deals because sellers want too much, and I just don't know how much money to spend and all that kind of stuff. You could be struggling, and I see a lot of people here that say they are. My biggest hurdle has got to be finding and negotiating the deal. Many sellers have been touched times or aren't motivated enough. Yep. I mean, that's a situation too. I mean, it's all a numbers game, right? But it depends what pond you're fishing in, right? So if you want to be fishing in a pond, and Brian, do you like fishing?
Sure.
I'm not a fisherman myself, but yeah. If you want to go fishing for striped bass, are you going to go fishing for lake trout?
Exactly.
You're just not. You're going to go where the good fish are, right?
Right.
So, and that's what this is. That's what this is all about. So, and talking about the list stacking and all that kind of thing, that's just one angle to it. But if you're on this call right here, we've got some rules that we've laid out in order for you to win the list stacker. So, Brian, do you want to go over those guidelines that you put out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, part of why we're giving this list stacker away, and we are going to be giving away 5 copies. So there's going to be 5 opportunities for people to win this list stacking software. But one of the main reasons why we decided to do this is because we started yesterday a 4-week marketing training course, which is going to show you how to find motivated sellers in today's real estate market. And this training essentially it's 4 weeks of training. So each Monday, we're releasing a new aspect of how to find deals in today's real estate market. And from there, what we're going to do is we're also doing Q&A calls on Wednesday of each week. So Mondays, the content is released, and then Wednesdays, we're doing a Q&A call. That way we can help you really find deals in today's real estate market. So we basically sold the program out, closed it down, but we decided that we had a few spots open up that we wanted to kind of reopen for people, and the only way that you're going to be able to get signed up for this is actually on today's call. So there's no other way to really get signed up. But so we wanted to kind of get the word out a little bit. So we're giving away 5 of the list stacking software, and to be able to be eligible to win, what you have to do is you have to like this video. You also need to comment on the video. Let us know what maybe your biggest marketing struggle is in today's market. And from there, what we're going to do is, let me see, what are the other requirements? I had them written down, but I can't see the screen. Let me see here.
I'm laughing here because Dave posted that he went fishing once and caught a pelican.
Oh, there you go.
I want to know more about that one, Dave. Dave really is a guy that really knows what he's doing in this business, and I didn't know you can catch pelicans while fishing. That's a good one.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's essentially what we have going on. There's 3 rules. They're real simple rules. Join us on today's Facebook Live, which obviously you're here if you're watching it. You must like this post, and then just comment on here your biggest hurdle. And then Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to pick 5 winners. So we'll tag you on here, let you know that you've won. And for anybody, obviously we're going to go into more detail, but if you are interested in taking a look at our 4-week training course, it did already start. You're not going to miss out on anything yet, but this is the only opportunity for you to be able to get access to it because it is sold out right now, but we have a few spots that we opened up just for people that are on this call. But we'll cover that in more detail here in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we mentioned briefly the market training that we're doing. This is something, okay, that we've made available to the general public here, the general group here. Normally we have a high level coaching program in which we still do, but this is something that we've made that's very affordable for other people who may not be in a spot where they can afford or use high level coaching. But in this situation, this is very affordable, something that you can start watching. We're even having some Q&A type stuff to where, that's there to help people after they go through the material and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to cover in the course. Like we said, we've got 4 weeks in which we're going to be unleashing information to you. And we've already released week 1, which has to do with list stacking as one part of it, as well as understanding your property avatar. And the property avatar is really, really important, right? Because it's not only from a marketing standpoint, like who you're going to target or sellers wise, but Brian, why would you say that property avatar is so important?
Yeah, to be successful in today's market, there's a lot of little things that you need to do. And the property avatar is so important because it really helps you identify what the market is looking for. I mean, for you to be able to, we keep using the fishing analogy because it's really very important. You don't want to fish in a big pond. You don't want to be trying to compete with everybody else. You want to look at where the demand is and look at what people are wanting. Because, in business, if you want to be successful, you have to know who your customers are, know what they want, and then all you have to do is really give it to them. And that's what the property avatar really outlines for you, is it helps you really understand what the demand is in your market, where people are buying properties at specifically, and what they're looking for. And if you know that, it makes everything else a heck of a lot easier. So that's really why it's so important.
It's something that we didn't even put down or even really didn't advertise. It's kind of an unadvertised bonus. Not only did I develop a list stacker, I also developed a property avatar generator. Okay. So this is another awesome piece of software, right? Because what you do is you simply go into ListSource, you download the latest set of cash buyers, you upload it into the software, and the software then spits out where the top zip codes are, who the top 3 buyers are, what they are paying for properties, what type of properties, the year built of the properties, as well as the value, the assessment of the properties that they are buying. So, I mean, what's awesome about it is a lot of times you download the a cash buyer list, and now you got to go sift through it and try to find out and move columns around and try to find out who the buyers are and what they're buying and how much they're paying and all that kind of stuff. The avatar generator will actually do that for you, which is absolutely amazing. So I wasn't sure if you even knew about that one. Did you know I threw that in there?
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
you're going to be generating avatars for your. I know what you're doing after this call.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, what people don't realize is that it really isn't just about the marketing and the list. It's really about understanding where that demand is. Because if you're trying to get started with a small budget and you market to an entire county or market to all these different types of properties that don't fit what your buyers are looking for, right out of the gate, there's a very good chance that you're wasting a lot of your marketing budget. And in today's market, you really can't do that. You need to have every advantage possible. And that's what the property avatar really sets you up for. It really sets you up for success.
Yeah. And the generator is that cool. And I'm going to give you guys a tip, right? One thing as well on when you're doing a property avatar, meaning looking at what your competition is doing. And I actually recommend people do this like almost every month. Take a look, download the list of cash buyers in your area every month, get a new fresh one, and look at who's buying, where they're buying, what they're buying. And you can kind of spy on your competition and see what's going on. You can see who the big heavy hitters are. You can see where the demand is, what's going on. And here's one thing that people don't look at. And this is a big freebie actually. When people do the property avatar, and something that, in fact, let me before I say this, go ahead and comment one of the most important things you want to find out about properties, about recent properties of what sold, what's one of the most important things that you look for when you're looking at that and you're looking to see if there's a common tie between these properties that have been recently sold. Go ahead and comment that. I'm just curious to see, and we can kind of learn here from people of what their experience with of examining the property demand and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Other people are talking about some hurdles, the correct list, but I won't give up. Last sale date. All right, who said that? Damon Huckleberry. Damien, you're close, but not correct as far as what I'm talking about here. But yes, you do need to see when that last property sold. I mean, that's kind of an easy one, right? You want to know when that property sold. So that, and obviously, if you're looking for properties that sold in the last month, that'll be in there, right? Anybody else? What do you guys look at? Hey, Alex Jacobs, I see you. Appreciate the thumbs up. Alex Jacobs is rocking it. And Alex, hang on the line here. Make sure you hang around because I've got something. I know you like Property Avatar and all that kind of stuff, and reverse searching or reverse engineering. This is going to be a good one that you guys like. Bed and bath. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's an okay one. Dealing with how many beds and how many baths. That's fair when you look at a property to see where the demand is. What else? What else, people?
We will go back and answer your questions too here in a little bit.
Yeah, questions. And Ashley, that's great. Yep, don't give up. Absolutely not. Hey, Anthony, I see you. Robert, Brian. Level of rehab needed. So how would you find the level of rehab needed on a property? I mean, the only way to do that would be to do like a driving for dollars to look at it. But I'm talking about strictly data that you're looking at from when you go and download a cash buyer's list. Okay. All right. I guess I'm about to say it here, right? Brian, I'm going to give you a chance here. What do you say is the most important?
On the spot. I mean, it could be anything.
Well, go ahead, give us one. You're a man of wisdom.
I don't know. The sale price, I guess, or something like that.
Okay, sale price. That's good. That's good, right? Those are all common things that people look at, okay? All right, I'm about to spill it here. You guys got to give me some thumbs up and some likes, and I'm going to tell you one of the most important things when you're looking at the Property Avatar and putting this together here. You got comps. Somebody says comps. Somebody says zip code. Okay, zip code. Yeah, that's good. So zip code, Sterling, is great because that tells you exactly where the area is, right? Equity. That's not necessarily a bad one, Ashley. All right. So people say that you want to look at how, how long an owner has lived there and stuff like that, right? How many people or how many of you actually go back and not look at the last market sale date, but the prior market sale date of the property? All right. So if you go back and you look at your properties or the properties that are being sold in the market, and let's say you pull a fresh new list every month or whatever it is, go back and look at the previous market sale date, and you will find a really good little nugget there of what properties you should be targeting in your market, right? So next time, pull that up, look at the prior market sale date. You got to make sure that you pull it when you pull it in ListSource. Your ListSource is what we teach people to pull so that way they can see what the prior market sale date is, right? So if you go in and you notice that the prior market sale date of these properties that are being bought from your competition, from competitors, from cash buyers, whatever it is like 1950, 1960, 1970, and you see the bulk of the transactions are around that time, why are you going to waste your time marketing the prior market sale dates in 1990, right? Those are things, as well as unknown, right? It may be something that's blank. And if it's blank, that simply means it's unknown. So look for properties that have a prior market sale date and compare that for your next property avatar. And that right there is a nugget for you. You guys appreciate that? Does that make sense? If it does, give me a thumbs up and let me know if that's something that you can implement today. And again, we're talking about this property avatar because we're going through this, our week 1 or our 4-week training. And the 4-week training has to do with going through and determining what your property avatar is so that you can market to it, what kind of lists to target. We actually have some specific lists that we layer out in there. And we also have, we go through some hard to find lists and what the key is to getting your hard to find lists so that you can finally get those and start marketing to those. So you have anything to say about week 1, Brian?
No, I mean, that pretty much covers it. I mean, if you're wondering what to do right now in today's market, I mean, we are going to outline it step by step, exactly how to find deals. So we're going to cover, number 1, the property avatar, and then number 2, all the little lists. We're going to share with you exactly which ones are best, which ones have a ton of competition, which ones might not have a lot of competition, and then even how to put those lists together to get the best quality list possible. So this is going to work whether you got a small budget or a bigger budget. It doesn't matter. We're going to show you how to find the right lists that are going to work best for you.
Absolutely. Now, also, as we're going through these weeks here, we're going to move on to week 2 and what we're going to cover in week 2. We have, if you're just coming on here, we do have a competition or a giveaway that we're doing for the list stacker, right? So the rules to getting a copy of our list stacker is to make sure that you're, number 1, present on this call. Number 2, posting in the comments. Now, we do want to know what your biggest challenge is. Should it have to be a challenge, Brian, or some kind of, let's see, how about something as simple as I want the list stacker, just so we know you're here and you want it. If you have a challenge, let us know that too. That's fine. Or I want the list stacker, just say that, and that'll suffice as well. And what were the other rules, or is that it?
That was it. Yep. Just comment, like it, and then we'll pick 5 people on Friday. Right.
Comment, like, and be ready, because we're going to go through all those and make a decision for 5 lucky people. There we go. I want the list stacker. Who said it? BJ wants the list stacker. Okay, that's cool. And on Friday we're going to make that. There we go. I want the list stacker. I want the list stacker. Everybody wants the list stacker. All right, cool. Very good. Definitely want the list stacker, Robert. I see you. All right. Let's go into week 2 here. Okay. So, and this kind of goes in order a little bit, right? Because it all comes down to first determining your list, trying to get that all together, trying to figure out what that property avatar is, trying to get rid of the waste, try to get rid of just like throwing against the wall and seeing what sticks, and then putting out there a solid marketing effort and getting in touch with people, right? So everybody knows that cold calling is one of the best ways that you can do that. So week 2, we're going to get into cold calling. We're going to talk about cold calling, an example of a live script, of a script that you can use, as well as you can listen into some live calls. Some done-for-you systems that you can pretty much give to your virtual assistant and say, this is how we want to have it done, so that way they're trained on how to use Mojo. And then we'll train you as well on how to use the dialer for maximum results. And through that, we're also going to talk about skip tracing. We're going to talk about how to get your list skip traced, and then how to sort it once you get the list back from your skip tracer, and what data you potentially need to maximize that too. So
Yeah, we're really going to simplify the whole process whenever it comes to cold calling. Something that we both do a lot in our businesses and a lot with a lot of our students as well. And we're seeing some really amazing results with cold calling. And a big part of it is because people respond differently to different types of marketing. We're going to share with you a couple different marketing strategies that we do. But cold calling is a great thing. And it's also a great way to kind of take that business to the next level because it's very cost effective, whether you're doing the cold calling or whether you're going to hire someone else to do that. So we're going to show you our exact system for how to do the cold calls, some of the tools that we use. We use Mojo Dialer. We'll share with you exactly, if you need to hire someone to be able to do the cold calling, how you can go about doing that. And then we'll give you our exact script and everything. So just like you said, I mean, this is really going to make a huge difference for a lot of people that are looking to do this on a budget. Once you get that list, there's lots of different ways to contact them. And cold calling is a great way to do it, especially if you're on a budget.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about as well. I mean, when you do check out the training itself, and I guess what we could do, I guess we can post a link here for the training as we're trying to go through and explain everything about it. But there's some great benefits and bonuses that come along with the training too that you guys can check out once you get through.
Yeah, I'll post the link, but just keep in mind that this is the only place right now to get access to the 4-week training. We've already closed it down. We opened up a few spots just for people that are on this Facebook Live. So I'll post a link here in a little bit, but that's the only way to still get access. We released the first week's training yesterday. So our live call will be tomorrow. So you're going to want to get in. You're going to want to get in today. We only have a few spots available. So if you still see the link and have it open, then it's still open. So I'll go ahead and post the link though, for sure.
Yeah. And why, and we're not trying to be funny and play games when we say, oh, we only have a few spots open. I mean, it really is true because we can only handle so many Q&As, on a line or give enough attention to the people that are on the line. The first Q&A call that comes along with this is on this Wednesday. So if you get signed up with us today with that training course and you open it up and you start going through it, we have a live Q&A call on Wednesday coming up. So that's right around the corner. And good news is if you miss anything, all you need to do is it's in a members area. So you can go back and check it. So that's week 2. So week 1, what lists to target, property avatar, list stacking. Week 2, cold calling. Week 3 is a question right now a lot of people have, but it's ringless voicemail. It's going over ringless voicemail and how to use ringless voicemail in your business in the most effective way, right? So some people say, ringless voicemail, is it legal, right? We actually had a question on one of our coaching calls last week. And so right now, I'm not an attorney, right? Well, I never will be. At least I don't think so. But ringless voicemail right now is not regulated. I will put it that way. Okay, it's potential that it could be regulated in a very short amount of time. It just depends. But right now, it's not regulated. So if that's the case, we are going to show you how to use ringless voicemail using some. We'll give you the recordings. And some done-for-you systems as well that you can give to a virtual assistant so that they can go and get that set up for you, as well as, again, how to sort the lists and find out which ones you need to be targeting with the ringless voicemail, the system that we use to do that. And then as well, we'll talk about some texting information with regards to that. You have to be careful with texting, right? Because texting is regulated. And if you do the wrong thing, you will be breaking the law, and then you could have some potential ramifications. But we will go over how you can use some texting when it comes to ringless voicemail. All right, you have any thing to say about ringless voicemail?
No, I mean, we're going to simplify the whole process. You'll actually be doing a live demo of how to set up and use the Stratix network, which is what we use for the ringless voicemail. So if you think that we're just going to tell you how to use it and then just kind of leave you on your own. No, we're actually going to walk you through step-by-step how to actually set the campaigns up. It's really simple. You'll be able to see it done. So, and that's really why we wanted to incorporate a lot of these marketing strategies in there is we wanted to show you step-by-step exactly how to do it. That way, by the end of the call, you'll know exactly how to implement these in your business. You can just follow along. So we're going to make it really easy for you and really cover everything that you need to know.
All right. So before we get into week 4 here, guys, are you enjoying this? If you are, give us a thumbs up. And for those of you that are just coming on the line here, just want to let you know that we are doing a 4-week training with regards to finding motivated sellers in today's market. Fresh information, hot off the press, not information from a few years ago, even a few months ago, not even last year. It's right now. It's doing right now what people are doing to find motivated sellers. And as part of this little promotion that we're doing here, we are going to give away my list stacking software, okay? 5 people, we're giving it away to 5 lucky people who will comment on this video here, say, I want the list stacker, or tell us some kind of a struggle that you are having in your real estate business when it comes to finding sellers. And we're going to be doing a drawing on Friday and pick 5 lucky people that will get this list stacking software, okay? And it's cool because all you do is you upload your first list that you've got, and so let's say that's just for simple purposes, an equity list. And then let's say you have a vacant list. You take the equity list, upload the vacant list, and now it'll spit out a list that has equity vacant, the only names on that list that are both equity and vacant. And now you've got vacant lists with equity, right? Because vacant doesn't necessarily mean you have equity. And that's the beautiful thing about the list stacker. So if you guys want that, right, I want the list stacker, or give us a comment about what your issues are with real estate, and we're going to do a drawing on Friday. So 4-week training, week 4. This is what we're going over on. Week 4 is direct mail. Everybody's like, oh no, direct mail. Brian, is direct mail dead?
Absolutely not. Just the old way of doing direct mail and some of the lists that are out there and stuff like that. A lot of people are really turned off by the idea of the responses that they're getting. And people that have used direct mail for years are saying, it's no longer working. Well, it is. I mean, we're doing direct mail every single month in our business. We've got lots of our students that are doing it. So we're going to share with you how to be successful with direct mail today, because there are things that have changed. So you really need to know some certain things that are going to make it work well for you. In today's market, things are just a little bit different.
Yeah, they are. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about, because part of getting the right lists together and the property avatar and all this kind of stuff then boils down into doing the right type of marketing, right? So ringless voicemail is one kind of marketing. The cold calling is one kind of marketing, and direct mail is one kind of marketing. Direct mail is not dead, but if you do it correctly, you'll be in a lot better shape. And I will tell you, the volume side of it is not necessarily the way to go, especially if somebody's just getting started, right? The great thing about this course right here, and what I love about it, is that it really levels the playing field, right? A lot of people that are trying to get into this business, they see all these Facebook lives of people saying, oh, we're doing $400,000 a month and multiple, 6 figures and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, right? It's intimidating, right? But I will tell you, a lot of this stuff, these big players out there that are spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing, and some people $40,000-$60,000 a month in marketing, they're not doing these simple things. So this is what levels the playing field. This is what makes it available for anybody to get into. You just have to understand how to do just these simple little tweaks like this, and it'll make it something that you can start implementing and start finding deals and finding people that aren't being reached by other investors because they're simply not willing to do the little things that are necessary. All right, somebody here said, Andrea said, our biggest hurdle right now is scaling. I want more and more. I feel like we are slowing down rather than speeding up. I want the list stacker. I appreciate that, Andrea. Yeah, so scaling is okay. And we kind of talked about this briefly, right? About scaling your business. And frankly, direct mail from a scaling standpoint is really hard to do because number one, it's very capital intensive. Number two, it's very people intensive. You need to have the right amount of people on your team to really process those leads, or else you're going to drive yourself batty, right? And number three, it's something that you have to seriously commit to, be very consistent with, right? So if you're going to commit to direct mail, some people are like, well, I've got a list of 50,000 people and I'm going to commit to that for 6 months every person's going to get hit on that list at least once or at least 6 times in 6 months. That is a real way to do direct mail. And if you're not able to do that, you're really not maximizing and effectively doing it. So you need to do direct mail a little bit differently by doing it in a little bit more strategic fashion. So week 4 is direct mail. All right. So let's talk about when is the training that we're talking about. Okay. It's already started, actually. We already released the first week's video in which you can start implementing and using. It's already out there. So if you join up with us today or now or whatever time it is before Friday when we do the training, you'll have access to that week 1 video. And then tomorrow, so if you get started with us like right now, tomorrow you'll be able to be on that live Q&A call. And that's why it's so important right now to get in on this, because everybody else is going to be in on it, and there'll be recordings. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can get some live attention while we're making this available, you might as well do it. So it's something that you should jump on if you want to be able to ask live questions and get some live coaching while you still can. So first call or first lesson dropped yesterday, October 29th, and the first live training call is tomorrow, and that's at 3 p.m. Eastern. After that, we're going to be releasing the next modules. So November 5th is going to be the module on ringless or on cold calling. November 12th is going to be the module on ringless voicemail. And then November 19th will be the module on direct mail. The Q&A calls, as we said, 31st tomorrow. It's Halloween, I know, but we can we'll get that through that Q&A call. Wear your costume. We're not opposed to that.
There you go.
And then November 7th, 14th, and 21st is when the rest of those live training calls. So 4 weeks of training, 4 weeks of live Q&A with us to answer all your questions. And it looks like, let's see here. Oh, we got to talk about the price, don't we? Right? Very, very expensive. It's $10,000. No, this is very, very affordable. Okay. This is very affordable for everybody. You're going to get the benefits of high-level coaching in a condensed format. It's one payment of $297. $297 is how you can have access to this and have access to be able to start using this information. So, so some questions some people might have. Go ahead and post your questions in the comments, but I'll go over some questions here. Somebody says, count me in. Rocco, yeah, looking forward to it. I want a list stacker. Yes, if you want the list stacker, we are doing a giveaway. 5 lucky people will get the list stacker, which helps you pull the most motivated sellers out of multiple lists. So if you want the list stacker, comment below. I want the list stacker. The link is there for you guys to join up. So, Brian, what happens if I can't make the calls?
Don't worry, it's all right. We've got all the calls are going to be recorded. Store them in the membership area, which you guys will have access to. You'll be able to have access to them for as long as they're up there, which will be forever, basically. So yeah, if you can't make them, no big deal. We are recording everything, and you'll be able to get all your questions in there, and so it's no big deal at all.
How much marketing do I need to do, Brian?
It's a good question, and these are a lot of questions. The reason why I wanted to do this Q&A is because these are a lot of the questions I know you guys are going to have. So we've set this program up to where we can work with you depending on whatever your marketing budget is and how much marketing that you're going to be doing and things like that. So there's no real specific answer to this, obviously, but we are going to give you lots of options for marketing depending on if you have a small budget or a larger budget. We'll show you how to put the different marketing strategies to use depending upon, how much money you have to invest in the business. We always say you either have time or you have money to invest in the business. If you have time, you're going to probably do more of the lower cost marketing strategies, things like ringless voicemail and cold calling. If you have more time, you might do a little bit more direct mail and some different things like that. So we'll cover all those different things that'll really help you kind of decide what's going to be best for you and how much money you need to invest in the business for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It really comes down to time and money. There really is no excuse. If you've got a job, chances are you've probably got some more money than somebody that has no job and has time, right? So if you've got a job and you got some money for marketing, you can throw it at it. If you've got time, you can make a lot of money with time well spent. So we'll talk about that. And will this work in my competitive market? It's too competitive. What do I do, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is probably the biggest question that we get. And this is the exact reason, really the only reason why we decided to do this training is because we get so many emails from people. We get so many calls from people, Facebook messages. People are always asking us, I can't find deals. And these are not just new investors. These are experienced investors, peers of ours that have been doing deals for a very long time. Their deals are drying up. And a big part of it is just because there's oversaturation in certain markets. A lot of people have been trying to do the same old strategies and things just aren't working anymore. So if you are struggling right now to find deals in your market, we're still going to be able to help you out because we are going to help you, overcome a lot of those obstacles that you might be facing, show you how to find the right types of deals to go after instead of using the same old ways that you've been using forever. We're going to show you what's working in today's market. So yes, it will work. We've worked with so many different people in big markets, little markets, super competitive markets, and even a little bit colder markets. And these strategies work and they're very, very consistent. As long as you're doing them, you will definitely see results no matter what kind of market you're in, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So if you guys are just joining us, we are doing a 4-week marketing training. You can get in on it. The link is below. As well, if you want a copy of my list stacker, which helps you take multiple lists and find multiple points of motivation, comment, I want the list stacker, or comment one of the struggles that you're having. And on Friday, we're going to be doing a drawing and we're going to pick 5 lucky people who are going to get the list stacker. So guys, keep that in mind. When you're doing this business, you just got to be smart about it. You got to be strategic, identify what you have and work with what you have to get where you are trying to go. So do you guys have any general questions about the course? I went over some just general Q&A, but do you guys have any questions for me? Post those below and be glad to answer those for you. All right, let's see. Actually, we had a lot of questions actually posted through as we were talking about this. Let's see here. Okay, you Brian posted the link for the marketing training. Let's see. The property avatar tip was to use the previous market sale date. So that way you can see how long that property was owned before it was sold. So if you see people that bought properties at the auction, just look at the previous market sale date of that property and you can kind of get an idea of, oh, previous market sale date. That, I'll target properties that were previously sold from 1950 to 1975 or unknown. Let's see. Building my system and getting good results from cold calling. So yeah, you can definitely use these strategies to build a system when it comes to cold calling. Let's see. If you're in a small market where tax list is available, maybe no divorce list or codes list is available, what do you recommend to stack against? All right, let's see who just said that. All right, talking about list stacking here. Rocco says, if you're in a small market where the tax list is available, but maybe no divorce, I would do tax vacant. It's a really good way to do it. Tax vacant. Don't think about it too much. Just do it. Tax against vacant.
Yeah, and one of the lists that, or one of the videos that we just added in for the course, we're going to share with you some of the best examples that you can use. So we're going to go really deep down and kind of dive into some of the best combinations. So we go into that in the course, very specific.
All right. Is the course going to give us more on marketing other than list source absentee high equity list? Yeah, actually, we've got a lot of questions like that before. List source that we only use in this situation is just based for the fact of pulling a property avatar. Most of the rest of it talks about completely outside of list source lists.
Yeah,
So,
absentee is a popular one that people talk a lot about, but it's not one that we typically use because it doesn't mean that they have any kind of motivation to sell. I mean, it's just like a standalone thing. They own an investment property, and that's really kind of all it means. But
now,
absentee is one of those ones that people, they really, a lot of those big players are using those a lot in today's market and things like that. But it's hard to compete small scale when it comes to just doing absentees.
yeah, because here's the thing, right? When you're scaled as big as a lot of the these big companies are, it's really hard to do this niche style marketing. It's really hard to systematize, right? So that's why they steer away from it, and that's why you're going to be the ones that are doing it and getting these really good deals. So absentee is not a bad list, right? But if you stack an absentee with a vacant, now you've got something, right? Or absentee, tax delinquent, vacant. Now you really got something, right? So when I'm talking about that is with using my list stacker, you upload your absentee list into it. If you want to start there, it's the list that you have the most information from. It's really good to do it that way because a lot of these companies or a lot of the counties will give you partial information, right? So if you go to a county and you get a tax delinquent list and it only has 123 Main Street on it, what do? do you like now spend time trying to get a virtual assistant to like put this list together and piece it together, and you got tape and glue and everything there, or what? Well, the cool thing is with the list stacker, and I'm going to talk about list stacker again here. You can take an absentee list that you already have of names that you already in a target and run a partial list against it. So if you have like 123 Main Street and it's in that particular county and run it against your absentee list, the list stacker will pull out that address, and now you'll have the full address because it'll say, oh, okay, this is on the absentee list, it's tax delinquent, and by the way, here's all the names and the email, the property address and the mailing address all at the same time. So it saves a lot of time, right? So that's a really good thing about the list stacker. And the list stacker also, if you have a list of names of people that said take me off your list, or you don't want to mail the same people at the same time, or that are requesting to be taken off, you can take your list of, let's say, your do not mail list or do not call list or whatever it is, upload it into the list stacker, and then take your new list that you just put together and run that into the list stacker, and it will pull out the names that are already people that you don't want on your list and give you a list of people that are okay to go to market to. So that's a really cool feature that's unadvertised bonus of the list stacker. So does the list stacker come with the training? Yes, it does. It does. Or you could win the list stacker just right here. But if you don't want to risk your chance to luck about winning it, go ahead and sign up for the course, and you'll get the list stacker, and you can use that. It's a very simple software, but it does a lot of powerful
Very
things.
powerful, though. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got tons of comments, though, and we're giving away 5 of the list stacker. So, if you guys are, wanting to invest in the marketing formula, you will get the list stacker for sure. And, of course, access to all the other trainings and stuff where we show you exactly what you need to do to find deals in today's market.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. Can Agent Pro be used with marketing plans? Well, I'm not sure what Agent Pro is, but if it spits out a list, it can be used with the list stacker. If Agent Pro is a CRM or something, I'm not sure what Agent Pro is. I guess I'm not up to the times with that on that. Remember, if you guys want the list stacker, we're doing a drawing. I want the list stacker, or give us a struggle that you're having, and we're going to do a drawing and give away 5 list stackers for free. Or you could get signed up with our training, which we just started, 4-week training. Go ahead and sign up for that. The link is below for that as well. Trying to make sure that's in the right place. What I'll do as well is I'll post that link on top of this video so that you guys can you can grab it there as well. I want the list stacker. Is a software or Excel? It's actually a standalone software program that's coded to do exactly what I just said. So I actually had it built and developed to do exactly what I'm saying. So it's a site that you go to and upload your lists to, and then it spits them out, and then you can download them in an Excel format. So good question, Jamal. All right. I guess, are we going to wrap it up here, Brian?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So for anybody that wants to get signed up, we've got the link in there. We'll continue to answer your questions here on this Facebook Live. But like I said earlier, if you guys want to get signed up, we will have this open just for people on this call. There's no other way to get access. We've already kind of closed it down. But once we fill our spots up, we'll be taking access down as well. So that's, if anybody wants to get signed up, their link is there, and we're going to be doing a Q&A call tomorrow. 3:00 Eastern time is going to be the Q&A time for that. And then every Monday for the next 3 Mondays, we'll be releasing the training videos, and then Wednesdays we'll be doing the Q&A.
All right, I'm trying to actually click on it on my phone here, and it's not being clickable for some reason. So probably just need to put it on top of the
we'll make sure we get it up there
in the description there. So all right, guys, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys for following us and being in the group and sharing great content. If you're on my email list as well, let us know again if you've got questions. Also post "I want the list stacker" if you want to be entered into the drawing for that. And you can get signed up as well. And we're going to be starting, or we've already started, the first course, which includes the list stacker, is already dropped inside the members area. So you sign up, you'll be able to have access to it right away. So we'll make sure you have access to that link, and we will see you guys later.
Thanks.